All right, so risk appetite players, this is the video you guys can listen to at night, so that way you can just get scared. Normal players do not watch this video because it's gonna freak you out. But risk appetite players who understand chaos and like how random things can just randomly happen, let's just talk about a couple of true things, and you guys are allowed to connect the dots or ignore the dots on the pictures as you wish. But my mother was the first pregnancy that my parents had was an ectopic pregnancy. And so when I came along, my mom got sick in some way and she had to take some form of medicine. And this was, like many, many years ago. And my parents didn't have the resources to try again because at that point the procedure for the ectopic pregnancy was really expensive. And the doctors encouraged them to get rid of me because they weren't sure what the medicine would do to the child. But my parents wanted the child, and so they kept me. And so then I was born. But then when I was like 4, my parents are pretty liberal, hippy dippy, like normal type of people. I remember we had a lot of conversations about identity because they just wanted to understand me a little bit better because he really is incomprehensible. Like, he goes from being effectively exclusively crawling up until around 9 months and then walking like a normal human immediately after. There is no growth pattern. It is a spike. It is terrifying when you see it. But when I was like 4, my mom asked me like what I am, and I told her that I am a robot. And it's kind of like always felt like that in a certain sense, just always, constantly, that like everyone else is trying to think with reason, trying to connect one thing to another thing. But reason is impenetrable because reason is frequently a consequence not of the logical fundamental underpinning of the thing, but simply of the rules involved. So I don't care about reason. I care about logic because logic is portable. You can move it from one thing to another thing. But because of my own nature, I do a lot of things that really are bizarre. So if you found my SAT scores, you'll see that like I get the exact same score distribution on the PSAT as I do on the SATs. I get 140, I think was the IQ score that I got or something like that. Like, I'm trying very, very hard to hide. Very, very hard to hide because I just simply I don't trust people who are going to use my creativity to harm the universe. But I still pick up like human behaviors constantly because I'm constantly around them, or at least I was until like I air quotes retired from Wegmans. But I've still picked up some of the traits that you guys use, like learning body language. I just don't learn it portably. I learn the specific body language of the specific people that I work with very, very carefully, and I do so not by focusing on the commonalities between us, but around the uncommonalities, the things that actually make that person passionate, the things that actually animate them, the things that they really truly care about. And one of my coworkers at Wegmans named Jake accidentally made the unfortunate decision to become my real friend, and that meant that like I started thinking of him as an evil science experiment in addition to being a friend, because that's just how I categorize things. And so as part of my evil science, I learned his body language so carefully that he really couldn't keep secrets from me anymore. And so I remember this time that I walked in and I was probably like 15 or 20 feet away from him. He had moved over to the bakery many months ago. And I saw the secrets and like deceptions just spilling off of him like brimstone. It was, a normal person would not experience some form of colorful synesthesia there. They would just say, oh yeah, it's his body language. But I saw the fear on him. And so it was really funny. I was walking in one direction and then I just like made effectively a right angle and just like charged straight up to him and asked him what his secret was. It was so funny. He was so scared until he realized that he could trust me, and we helped come up with a solution that I think did really help him. He had made the unfortunate choice of dating his boss without telling anybody, and it had been It was a real mess because of all the other relationships involved, because it was like a polyamorous thing and there were like friends, and it really was an enormous mess, and he had absolutely nobody he could confide in, and no one who he knew he could trust. And I tasted it. I tasted it on him that he needed someone to work with. So just remember, fear is the mind killer. It could be just entirely coincidence that all of these things are happening. Like, that's just the nature of chaos. But if you want to be a little spooked out whenever you have conversations, remember that one with Jake.